And now CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! Feinstein, Fetterman, and Fools Edition, June 7th, 2023. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news last week was that Ron DeSantis predictably announced his presidential candidacy, though he did it unpredictably via a glitch-riddled, fully scripted, audio-only Twitter space that only served to cure insomnia. Speaking of Twitter, when millions of people couldn't tell the difference between the moronic things a parody account posted and the moronic things she posted herself, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got big mad and had such a public meltdown that she got the parody account millions of new subscribers. In true totalitarian democratic socialist fashion, she managed to get it booted off the platform because, God forbid, anyone should ever have a laugh at her expense. The owner had to delete their account because so many of the tolerant left had sent death threats. Now the real AOC is back to posting moronic things that people must question whether it's parody. Sadly, there are governments that take AOC's new green cow farts deal seriously, such as Ireland, which is forcing its dairy farmers to cull 65,000 cows per year over the next 3 years in order to meet climate change goals. This is real, folks. I am not making this up. In other ridiculous government news, the Pentagon announced that it had canceled its third annual drag show scheduled for Nevada's Nellis Air Force Base as, quote, hosting these types of events in federally funded facilities is inconsistent with regulations regarding the use of DoD resources, end quote. But don't worry, other Rainbow Mafia Month events scheduled to take place at military bases will not be impacted by the new directive because apparently they are somehow consistent with DoD use regulations. I swear, I am not making this up. Meanwhile, our favorite corrupt voting machine company, that we're not allowed to talk about, is afraid that they won't be able to continue reaping our tax dollars despite all the censorship and banning and recently raking in $787.5 million from suing Fox News for asking valid questions about their historical corruption. Dominion, yes I said it, CEO John Polis boo-hooed to Time magazine that for absolutely no reason of their own, consumers just don't trust the world's largest voting machine hardware and software supplier. And he's worried that as districts decide not to renew their contracts, Dominion's profits will dump at a rate faster than mail-in ballots trucked in at 3 a.m. after the counting stops. Speaking of rigged machinery, YouTube has retracted its ban on the First Amendment as it relates to the most free and fair election in human history. Their guidelines now read the exact opposite of their stance for the last 3 years, saying, quote, the ability to openly debate political ideas, even those that are controversial or based on disproven assumptions, is core to a functioning democratic society, especially in the midst of election season, end quote. This is just in time to allow significant gaslighting for the 2024 debates if the cabbage-in-chief is actually able to engage in any. By the way, said cabbage had yet another oopsie this week when he face-planted on stage to the tune of raucous laughter. Later the same day, he conked his inflated noggin on the way out of Marine One. If Joe, watch me Biden, wants us to judge his ability to run the country based on his foreign policies, the economy, or his navigation of stairs, perhaps he should go back to his practice of sandbagging others and stop doing it to himself. While the world is overwhelmed by the advances in AI, many are using these chatbots to fake their own intelligence. The most recent attempt was by lawyer Stephen Schwartz, who asked ChatGPT to create his legal filings, which it did, with cases it created out of thin air. It turns out that, much like the mainstream media, current chatbots will always give you exactly what you want to hear, even if it's completely fabricated. Someone who could definitely use a gibberish-spouting chatbot to make themselves look better is Dianne Feinstein, who swears she was present and voting the whole 2 months she was supposedly recuperating from shingles at home. When a reporter very generously asked if she meant that she'd been working from home, Feinstein crankily replied, quote, no, I've been here. I've been voting. Please either know or don't know. And I am not making this up, quote, as if auditioning for the role of Feinstein's gibberish-spouting chatbot, someone let Fetterman off his leash long enough to attempt to ask questions in a Senate hearing. He left every defendant speechless, as they couldn't decipher what it meant to go to the Hawaiis, or crank a bank. It is now considered offensive to sing our national anthem while at our nation's capital. If you even attempt it, you will be removed, even if you have permission from several members of the House, including the Speaker himself. Lefties feel this is jolly good, as simply performing our nation's anthem is not only rude, it's unpatriotic. Unlike screaming, smearing fake blood on the monuments, and trying to burn the place down, all of which were not only allowed, but encouraged in the recent past. Looping back to the Strip that has become a drag, after massive shutdowns that almost ended the state, the Las Vegas Strip came roaring back with all the major casinos reporting record revenues. But not because there were more people coming to play. It turns out that all the big casinos had a major overhaul while we were locked down, and not of the decorating variety. Blackjack tables with human dealers were cut way back, while minimum bets were raised significantly. Payouts went from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5, which is a 20% decrease. Roulette wheels now have 0, double 0, and triple 0 spots, increasing the house's favor by another almost 8%. Meanwhile, comps are out, free drinks are rare to non-existent, and the buffets cost more than a Tesla. It looks like Las Vegas has taken a page from the Democrats and fortified its practices even more in the house's favor. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.